yeah, they might have kicked him out of the festival. But he just came back the next day. And all the people, they were still going on about this king business, All hail, here comes the king, that bit. So the way shower, he thought the best approach would be to tell a picture story. A long, long time ago, there was a very good king and queen. They had dominion over this vast and very diverse empire. And yet all the people, they treated each other like family. Everyone lived peacefully. After many, many years, the king and queen, they decided the best thing they could do for the people would be to give away all their land, everything in their possession, give it to the people and let the people have dominion over themselves. And that's what they did. They said, take care of everything we give you. If you do that over time, it'll appreciate and take care of you. We want everyone to live peacefully. Well, it wasn't very long until the people, they decided to take it and they wanted to divide it up into territories. Well, that meant that they had to hire these politicians to govern the territories. And then they decided, well, they needed to replace the king and queen with these symbolic monarchs. I guess they needed like someone to feel like they had someone looking after them or something. Well, this was not a great idea, because as soon as they did that, all the very worst characteristics of humanity started to creep in. First, the different groups started to put themselves up on pedestals so they could feel like they were better than the other groups and look down on them. And then they became overpossessive, competing for resources so they could feel like they had something the other group didn't have, which all led to them just being deceptive. Like, they hid their true motives and treated each other treacherously. Eventually, a blanket of just general ungratefulness covered the entire land. The people, they just want to check out of life and numb themselves with these meaningless addictions. No one was getting along. People were fighting, their politicians were fighting, their monarchs were fighting. The fights just escalated into all-out wars. And their solution, they wrote laws. They filled libraries full of these law books, telling people, you're a bad person if you do this thing we don't like. It doesn't take a genius to figure out the guy that's writing the law. He's not going to make himself and what he's doing look criminal. He's going to make the guy that he doesn't like and what they're doing look criminal. And it's just all feeds a system where the rich who pay for the laws abuse the poor who can't afford it. And virtue is just turned up on its head. And instead of right being better than wrong, it just becomes being a bully is better than being a peacekeeper. Instead of the people governing themselves, it just became chaos reigning over the entire land. After years of the king and queen observing what had transpired, they looked out and they saw people trapped in these cruel, cruel wars, and people diseased and debilitated by chronic stress, and the powerful making slaves out of the weak. They were filled with disgust and pity all at the same time, and they said, what are we going to do? We got to do something. What do we have to just blow everything up and destroy everything, start over? No, they couldn't do that. They loved the people. They hated seeing everyone hurting. But destruction does not fix destruction. And so then they thought, well, maybe, what if we send our son? He's the rightful heir to the throne. Surely the people will listen to him. He can show them the old way. He can teach them how to live peacefully, how to love each other, how to do the right thing. And so that's what they did. They sent the prince out into the land to teach everyone. And you know what the people did? They mocked him. They laughed at him with these cruel jokes. And then they all ganged up on him and beat the shit out of him. Eventually, they just murdered him. They lynched him and left his limp body dangling from a tree. But I'll tell you something. Death is not what they make it out to be. See, they tried to use it as like a fear tactic to scare people into manipulating them. But no one dies until their time has come. And so you cannot keep the human spirit down. What they did was, instead of killing him, they turned him into the embodiment of the immortal human. He just picked himself up, dusted himself off, went right back into town, and continued teaching how to live peacefully, how to love each other, how to do the right thing. See, this is a story of how the Creator deals with us. If you want to be a king, that is how you do it.